Mission approved. Proceed to hell. Touchdown's hot, no time to pray. The air smells like a judgment day. They said pull back, I said not yet. My boots ain't done with burning flesh. Arc round loaded, grin full of teeth. I'm the nightmare underneath. Turrets hum like demon choirs, and I'm the match that feeds the fire. No backup call, no line to yell. Just click the beacon and proceed to hell. Where the bugs scream loud and the metal proceed to hell. Where we fight like ghosts and never tell. No heavens left for what we do. Proceed to hell.
Good morning, Liberation Fleet. I do hope that everyone enjoyed yesterday's day off because we are getting right back into the swing of things. That was Proceed to Hell by Master Helldiver, and that AC/DC influence behind this song crashes through your eardrums like a fast recon vehicle operated by once typical Helldiver, giving the reason as to why our super destroyers are all operated by autopilot. Because we are, in fact, the very worst drivers in the cosmos. So, as you might already know, Alliance Order Heroes has concluded, and we are tallying, before the auction payments are finalized, $120,000 for Save the Children, which is just... We never thought even a fraction of this would be possible. Heck, my husband didn't think that we were going to be able to eclipse 4,311. Once again, thank you for allowing us to do this. This campaign is going to help, quite literally, thousands, if not tens of thousands of children all across our fair world. However, there's still the rest of the universe that we have to save, and it's not going to be as simple as buying some food and water. We're going to have to put some bullets in tyrants, lads. With that segue, the morning news. Yesterday, the battle for Gunvolve was won, which, if you ask me what happened there exactly, I'm going to tell you right up front, I have absolutely no fluffing idea anymore. The Liberation Fleet arrived yesterday, causing the forces of the Scorched Earth Coalition to flee like the roaches they are, and that's when stuff just started getting weird. Apparently, a group named the Hussars dropped in on the planet and acquired a high-level processing core from an Automaton ship, plugging it into the iPost AI system that was helping to run the planet, and after that, stuff just started blowing up, man. I don't know. Last I heard, a number of Automaton ships carrying civilians left Gunvold, but I was asked by one of the higher-ranking members of the planetary government to abort the Starset intercept that I had planned, with said official transmitting this message from the bridge of one of these Automaton ships. Just... what is even happening here? Are they traitors? Captives? Did they steal the ships? Is the civil war between automatons back on? At this point, who even knows? Regardless of what happened, I have been told that a large-scale ICBM is on its way to Gunvold with a very impressive blast yield, so I have pulled all forces away from the planet. I don't think it's gonna be there much longer. Last that I tracked them, these Automaton Gunvoldian ships were seen jumping beyond the edge of the galactic sphere. Honestly, I hope they're okay, and I wish them well, and I hope that they find the peace and happiness among the stars that this brutal sphere has denied them. In other news, the Liberation Fleet has pivoted to Verilia 5, the homeworld of the legendarily evil Legion divers who have orchestrated this whole mess. With the aid of the Helldivers, it does look like they're going to win the battle for this planet, but messages coming out of the Legion are extremely confused. It appears that there was some infighting, and the exact status of the Legion is, at this point, unknown. As for the two other members of the Scorched Earth Coalition, the apostates took one look at the oncoming wave of the Loyalist Liberation Fleet coming to pad their automaton kill counts like a squishmallow, saw the writing on the wall, and they were one of the first ones out the door. Smart guys. You can't say Helldiver these days without saying collateral in the same sentence, and a lot of them get even more violent when they're confused. If they figure out that there was some treasonous, secessionist plot that was happening on Gunvold, The Liberation Fleet's first reaction would probably just be to kill everybody involved and ask questions later, likely with the Ministry of Truth's blessing. As for the Atom Divers, they get into a brutal shootout with the Truth Enforcers, and last I heard, they're still on the run. Considering that the Atom Divers like to kill civilians for kits and shiggles, I can only pray for Lady Liberty to bless the Truth Enforcers' aim. Sadly, I do not think that we have seen the last of this group of meandering psychopaths. Getting back to the calculators, they have made a stab at Ustotu, one of the least appealing planets in the galactic sphere, with specked ferrous oxide particulate instead of sand, giving it the nickname Planet of Legos. The remains of the Czech Brigade were once again shattered during the battle for Gunvald, so the invaders of Ustotu are just garden variety bots. Once the Liberation Fleet finishes with Verulia, they are probably going to pivot to deal with Ustotu. Now for a bit of personal news. Today is the 1-year anniversary of when I first started my channel, and my machinima artist, Master Chief 117, had this lovely collage of all the adventures that we've had together since we first met. I know there are certain broadcasts of mine that are on the channel with dates earlier than that, and those are from my Discord days before I started the channel. But I'd like to make a particular shout out to Master Chief 117 right now. I might upload twice a day, but this guy right here, this is the hardest working member of the Liberation Fleet, and he deserves every last ounce of his good rep. So I'm going to go ahead and play through all of his hard work and do a massive recap. First, we have the evacuation of Angel's Venture, where the ministries realized that I have way more power and influence than they thought, and I was not going to just go away. This kind of thing is why the people of the Cave-Filling Corporation are terrified of me. Because I am constantly sticking my nose where they feel that it doesn't belong, and so long as civilians are getting caught up between factional leaders engaging in a glorified social media beef, that's a habit I plan on continuing. Then there was the battle for Fenrir 3, where I fought alongside the wolves to protect the civilians of Angel's Refuge and evict the oncoming predator strain. Multiple times that week, if I recall correctly. Yes, the Terminids did manage to tear off a chunk of me, but I punched that stalker right in the eye for his trouble, and I am pretty sure that Jarl Quicksilver never did get his axe back after he rammed it down that creature's throat. Given what I have heard of Terminid digestive processes, my good Jarl, I do not think you want it back anymore. I also took some time to attend the memorial on Mars to the people of Angel's Venture, one of the first victims of this insane crusade of the Illuminate to exterminate all human life. A memorial which sadly no longer exists. I'd really rather not dwell on this part. After the Legion blew up my ship, thanks for that by the way, I really liked that boat. I arranged to have some upgrades. Most notably that I stole one of the Legion's super dreadnoughts, which I still have. This marked the point where I started beefing up my fleet for larger operations, considering the increasing danger the rest of the galaxy was facing. I guess you could call this an escalation of freedom. Then we had the mini battles of Peelin 5, all of which were utterly insane. The Illuminate tried multiple times to take that planet, and in the end had to settle for collapsing it because I am actually the biggest pain in the tail imaginable, and as the Ministry of Truth found out, I am not going to go away anytime soon. Which was actually really good for them, because if I wasn't around for the defense of Super Earth, those same ministries would be in a heaping helping of trouble right about now. My Illuminate Joe count went from 75,000 before to 115,000 after, over the course of about a week. Seriously, that whole campaign was brutal and crazy, and when people talk about the Creek, I'll be the first to tell them, that was absolutely nothing compared to the utterly insane meat grinder that was Super Earth. Like, seriously, this is the hill I'm going to die on. Just not literally. But level on was a warm-up compared to every single day that was defending Super Earth. Period. Speaking of meat grinders, the 40 Prime campaign definitely qualified. That wasn't so much of a military action as Super Earth beating on a heavy bag full of Terminids and concrete until we broke our hands and still just kept pummeling bugs with bleeding little meat stubs anyway, because we're all kinds of stubborn like that. I'd also like to take a moment to thank another of my collaboration partners, Limonade, for his work in creating the Angel of the Airways fanfiction. Yeah, I have fanfiction, people. Link is in the description below, so go and check it out. Limonade is one of my best friends, a dedicated Helldiver, one a heck of a writer, and is actually one of the few people in the Liberation fleet that is a decent driver.
What is love? Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me no more.
Don't mind me, that's just really an in-joke between us. He'll get it. He has also showed me some AI artwork that he had made, which I might be one of the few people left on the internet who appreciates the novelty of this new tech and how much it has lowered the bar for creative admission from the insanely talented to practically everybody. Yes, it kind of does devalue the work of the artist, but in the same way that inflation does. Now everybody gets to play. Art and music are for everyone, period. Speaking of which, I have dabbled with this a little bit myself. Gosh, I just utterly adore that outfit. And this artwork is about as gender-affirming as you might think. I just really think it looks nice, and it's pleasant for me to get more artwork created of my character. Which is otherwise impossible for me to get because Gumman retired and he doesn't take commissions anymore. This is what a full dive neural interface looks like, so while I'm unleashing a localized apocalypse on any given planet within the galactic sphere, my real body is sitting on the super destroyer, cozy and living the good life. This is why I don't complain about planetary conditions anymore. Only when returning Helldivers track bug guts onto my nice clean ship. Yeah, that's usually about how I look at my galactic war trackers when I wake up most days now. And I call this piece here, Bite Me, Legion Divers. Oh, just a fair warning. While I might personally have a favorable view towards artificial intelligence and its crafted imagery, and I would happily show off any relevant imagery that my fans made of my broadcast lore using such devices, the main Helldivers 2 Super Discord does not. And posting anything like that there is an excellent way to get oneself some unpleasant moderator attention pretty darn quick, so while I go by the Freddie Mercury rule of do anything you want with anything that I have ever said, done, written, or performed, just don't make it boring, it might be bad if you screenshotted any of this and reposted it elsewhere. It's all AI. All of it. Without exception. There, you now have your grain of salt. But this is what I was warning Luminant about when he wanted to post his stuff to the official Helldivers 2 Super Discord board. I'm glad I stopped him. As I said, I do appreciate the novelty of all of this and see it not as the death of creativity, but rather another evolution. Just another set of tools like Photoshop or Adobe Premiere Pro, which I use constantly. Those who fail to adapt with the changing times often perish at the hands of those who have. A lesson hard learned at the Battle of Midway. I think the main thing that people might be upset about is that corporations are doing things like cloning other people's work and profiting off of it without paying the original artist, which that is utterly reprehensible. But I do not see that as the fault of the technology. All technology has good and bad uses to it. In this case, I see this as corpos doing immoral corpo things, which they always have. Look at the things that Disney has done to copyright law, or literally anything that Nestle has ever done if you got the stomach for that kind of thing. While some may see their livelihoods vanishing, others are having their skill sets vastly expanded upon. For instance, I can write with the best of them, and I've always done all of my own script writing, editing, and so on, but I have never been able to do art. I could describe the full dive neural interface to you, but it's another thing entirely to actually see it. And this is something that I do not want to trouble the Freedom Alliance's graphics guy Chechen about because he has a busy life, and I cannot always be asking for favors. Though, seriously, a full-time element and interface designed by Chechen Corp would be the cleanest thing imaginable. The only problem with that is that I would want to pay him for his work, and I have never made a dime doing my broadcasting. Mostly because I find YouTube's policies on the matter just disgusting. And I am not willing to sell out like that. Seriously, nobody, no one likes advertisers. You see my problem? I note with some amusement that an awful lot of YouTube's advertisers these days are using AI themselves. I guess that's what you call ironic. I am making a case for both the good and bad uses of this technology. Without my AI-empowered voice changer, I never would have done any of the broadcast work for this channel. I never would have been able to help the Freedom Alliance with Save the Children. I never would have been able to inspire others, come out of the closet, be proud of myself, or meet any of my friends, like Electo, Roy, Commander Rod, and everyone else. Yes, Internet, I'm using nuance, which is becoming something of a lost art itself. Normally, I don't delve into such a sensitive topic without some warning prior, but this is very relevant to my current work. None of this was possible about 5 or 6 years ago, and this tech is only getting better with time. What do you think we're going to be in another 5 or 10? We've reached an awkward point where, if things stayed as they were, I couldn't do any of this, but in order for my work to be possible, the livelihoods of others are threatened by the same technological evolution. So, if anyone has a solution to get corporations to stop being horrible to the little guy, please do share that with the class, because I think that's the sum root of the problem that is getting everybody really upset. That's been Liberty's Latest with me, Pandera, the Radio Angel. Hey, with that recap, I guess we better all get back to work. I just saw that Mintoria is being invaded with a level 20 SDC. Dang, that is a lot. I guess we're ready to go say hi, right? Because while I might have a favorable view towards a lot of AI's works, I do draw the line at planetary invasion. So let's go file a cease and desist. For liberty, for freedom, for democracy, and for the angelic rebellion. Viva la Revolution Angelique.